I'm Jeff Morgan. I am here with YG Nyghtstorm. And tell me about yourself, NG, or YG.
Well, I'm running for Congress in District 7 in Georgia. We're going to flip that seat from Carolyn Bodeaux because guess what? The country is changing. Georgia is changing. Even Democrats are saying they have had enough of the foolishness. It's time to bring the communities together, man, and put this country right back on track.
So you had a very inspiring story to me. Tell me about, like you said, back in 1992, you were homeless, and tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, sir. I mean, I grew up just like a lot of people, like millions of people. I grew up in a very broken home, okay? And let's just say me and mom couldn't get along because I looked too much like my father because he hurt up. I got kicked out the house. I was actually homeless, sleeping on the street, beat up, robbed, and literally urinated on. But get this, by the grace of God, man, a Rolls Royce parked up next to me, and an old gentleman got out, 72 years old, white guy. He saw me. He didn't see a black kid. He just saw a young man who needed help. He gave over me, prayed over me, took off his socks and shoes. He had on a pair of Argyle socks. He slid those Argyle socks on my feet, and he said, as sure as these socks cover your feet, God is going to cover your life. Go forth and make a difference in this country.
Are you serious?
I'm serious, man. And that right there, that one incident, it reignited my faith back in God, and it gave me an American spirit that hasn't been quenched yet, man. I love this country, and that is what our community is about, standing up for each other, regardless of this stupid stuff called skin color.
Exactly. But you know, you talk about the importance of family.
Yes, sir.
So you came from a broken family.
Yes, sir.
Tell me a little bit about the relationship with you and your dad, you and your mom, and because it sounded to me like you had a fractured relationship.
Yes.
Did that ever get healed? And I mean, just along those lines.
Well, my father has he's passed away in 2007, Lord rest his soul, and my mother and I have rekindled our relationship, so that's good. But I took that brokenness into my own adult life. I've been married twice, divorced twice.
Right.
Okay, the father of 7 amazing adult children, and we had this contention between me and my ex-wives. It was war like most divorces are. But once again, the beautiful thing about God, I went to both of them. I said, look, instead of us being at war, how about we work together to give our kids something that we didn't have, and we develop a successful co-parenting relationship, and now our children can actually benefit off of something that we didn't. And guess what? Both of them agreed.
Wow.
And they said, yeah, let's rock and roll, let's do it. And now we're able to do seminars together. We talk about this stuff because if we want to fix the things in the country, we got to start with the family first. If the family is broken, the country's going to be broken.
So you're right. The foundational building block of society is the family unit.
Yes, sir.
And that must be strong. So you have 2 ex-wives then. Obviously, you've been through things yourself. But you know, when you went through a divorce, you said right now you're good friends with them. You do seminars together. Was it always that way?
Of course not. I mean, divorce is divorce. I mean, I put it this way, and I'm going to tell you fellas how to do this. I had to humble myself. And I said, you know something, to both of you, I'm sorry for all the stupid stuff, the petty stuff, the idiot stuff. I'm sorry for every bad thing I've ever said, every bad thing I've ever done. Please forgive me. I just want to make things right for our children because guess what? I love our kids more than the hate that I have for y'all. And then they say, well, you know something? We love the kids more than we hate you. And so then the hate started turning into appreciation, and that appreciation started turning into friendship, and that friendship started turning into a successful co-parenting relationship. And now we all good with no drama.
That's really pretty amazing. Kids need both parents in their lives.
The kids love it, man. The kids love it. It was a great experience for all 7 of them to grow up to see the moms and the dad successfully co-parenting, and it's not crazy at football or at family events. It ain't awkward. It's all good.
That's right. So let me ask you another question here.
Yes,
then.
sir.
I mean, you're talking about this stuff, and we go into the family courts.
Yes, sir.
We see what takes place.
Yes, sir.
And often, if you look at government policy, if you look at decisions that judges make, if you look at the way attorneys try to pit person against person,
right,
nothing but conflict, nothing but bad comes out of it. And oftentimes, with government policy and with the way the judges rule, they often, not always, but often target the father.
Yes.
And so how do you address these issues?
Well, I mean, we're talking about how our society is now is very, very broken because in part of the judicial system. When you are actively aiming to destroy a community by removing the father, and we're not just talking about the black community,
right,
we're talking about the American community as a whole. When you remove the very nexus and the foundation of family, you destroy culture, you destroy community. Now, I tell anybody, if you want to build things back, we got to bring the dads back in. The court system needs to be fair. You can't sit here and put, crazy amounts of child support support on people, especially if it's proven that they're not the father.
Right.
Okay, I mean, let's just honestly be real. We being real, right? We being real.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got to fix this stuff like that. But even with dads, have initiatives to bring the fathers back, build the families back, and that's how you start healing. Because this is what the children need. If it's about the kids, then let's make it about the kids and not the money that the court system generate off of putting people in jail for child support. They don't need to be there.
Right. You know, I saw the scripture verse in the background. You know, Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he'll not depart from it.
That's right.
But the picture was a father and a son holding hands.
Yes.
Walking.
Yes.
On a beach or something like that.
Yes.
But too often today, the son is walking by himself. The father has been erased by the judicial system.
Yeah.
How can a person relate to God the Father as Father when his entire life he or she has had a father who's been kicked out of his life? Because let's face it, we're talking real. A lot of the fatherless issues comes because of state policy and because of judicial system. The number one contributor to fatherlessness, I believe, is the government.
It is. I mean, and we're going to talk about government. Let's just talk about the 1994 crime bill that Biden put in. Okay, that was systemic. Since they want to talk about systemic racism that the Democrats talk about, guess what? Yeah, and you guys did it. It's called the 1994 crime bill that the Clintons pushed and Biden pushed. It put black fathers in jail and destroyed the community forever. I mean, we got 3 generations removed now with this thing going on. But now, especially with Trump's First Step Act, he was allowing people to actually come home, and the Democrats was mad at it.
They were mad
you got black people coming out of jail who was being thrown in jail unjustly by Joe Biden, and Trump was letting them out, and people were upset. The media was crying. I'm like, you guys are backwards. If we want to fix things, it's called bringing the dads back in. Doing seminars like what we're doing in Georgia on bringing the moms and the dads in with the children so the children can hold both parents accountable. Because if the mom is acting crazy and want to take the kid away and say, you're not going to see your child, now you on plain view. Now you're going to be held accountable. The kids want mom and dad. The kids need mom and dad. So we got accountability for both parents. That produces more better results. And guess what? The kids are loving it. And that's what it's about. It's not about mom's feelings. It's not about dad's feelings. It's about what's best for the children.
So is there anything that you can do when you win your race?
Yes.
What can you do? Is there something that you can do at a different level that you can bring some of these things, either not just bring focus upon them, but perhaps legislation or accountability?
Yes.
Just tell me what you
a lot of this stuff is on the state level. Okay, and I can support legislators on the state level to do that, but on the federal level, I can also put that pressure on and say, hey, this is what we need. Okay, we can also point out that the travesties of the judicial system and the damage it has done to our cultures and communities and say, hey, we need to change child support rules. Okay, we need to change even when parents are getting divorced. Why is it automatically maybe the mom gets the kid, but even if the mom is proven to be abusive or whatever, we got to look at the fact of what's going on with both parents and what's best for the child. And we also got to look at the DFAC system, okay? When kids are being removed out of the home, there's a lot of kids who are getting hurt in DFAC's custody right now. So it's a lot of things we have to look at, but we're on the right track right now. The way how the wave is moving right now politically is that people want fathers' rights, and we got to be able to stop these kids from being aborted in the womb. We got to stop this stuff, and that's what the Howard and Hank bill does.
But I'll tell you what, you've said so many things here. I wish I could take to dissect every single one of them. But one of the things you talked about, the way that I understood it was the incentives.
Yes.
Right now, the incentives are to destroy families.
Yes.
The incentives are to remove fathers. The incentives are to, as soon as one person files for divorce, alleging something, there's no defense from the other person. He's not allowed, he or she is not allowed to say, wait a minute, I don't agree with this. We can fix our marriage because what kids need are both parents together, like you said, preferably in the same household.
That's right.
But tell me about, like, say the incentives. You probably know a little bit about the Title 4D incentives with the Social Security Act, and basically the federal government incentivizes states to be good child support collectors. And the way that they do that is a lot of times by kicking one parent out and then saying we're going to give you more money. That's
right. And we got to get rid of that, because anytime you have an incentive of removing the father, kicking him out, well, if you kick him out, we're going to give you more money, and then the more kids you have, we're going to give you more money. But guess what that does to the mother? And since, like I said, the Democrats always want to talk about the black community and protecting black women.
Wait a minute, just look.
Okay.
Are you black?
Oh, I think so. I think so.
Okay, well, did you vote for Biden?
No, oh no, I'm not going. I mean,
then you ain't black.
No, I ain't black, right? I mean, for this man to sit here and tell me as much melanin I got in my skin right here, for this man to tell me I'm not black because I ain't vote for him, man, he can go kick rocks and pound sand. But anyway, what I was saying is to remove that and create incentives. What it has done to a lot of black women in communities, especially low-income communities, they have a net worth of less than $5.50 with over $20,000 in debt with multiple children. This is what that kind of incentive does, and it destroys them financially, and we can't move. Now, what we have to do, we have to get rid of that, remove that, get the dad back in, bring those incentives for the parents to be back together, and let's build generational wealth that way. That's how other cultures do it. That's how other communities do it. But this thing of what they're doing in the government, guess what? Open your eyes to see what's going on, and now let's change all that up.
So, another thing that you mentioned here, and you kind of alluded to anyway, this act that takes place right here has generational and even transgenerational consequences.
Yes, sir.
You look at what happens with children that are brought up in broken families, single-parent families. They're more likely to commit crime. They're more likely
to be homeless.
And you experience that. They're more likely, if you're a boy, you're more likely to rape somebody.
Yep.
If you're a girl, you're more likely to get pregnant and have an abortion.
That's right.
All of these things, mental health issues. You're more likely yourself, if you marry somebody, to get divorced. And if you marry somebody whose parents were divorced, it's almost a given.
Yep, it is. It is. And all of this is true. I mean, you can look at the statistics, but if you want to look past the numbers, look at reality. Go into the households. Look at what's going on in your household. Look at what's going on in your own household, in your family households. This stuff is jacked up. It's messed up. And everybody's growing up upset, mad, and angry, and uncentered.
Right.
Why? Because it's been broken. But the best way to fix this is what we've been talking about. Right. Incentivize the family. Right. Focus on building the family back. Right. But we got to do this through legislation on the government level, on the state level first, and then on the federal level, we have to support that.
One of the saddest things that I think has taken place, the black family used to be very strong.
Yes.
It survived Jim Crow.
Yes.
What it did not survive was the Great Society.
It did not.
Kick the father out and we'll give you a paycheck. And I'm glad that you're talking about this stuff. And
I'm so happy you brought that. I got to say this because before Lyndon B. Johnson's so-called Great Society, the black community had a very, very low abortion rate. The black community had a very, very low divorce rate. Matter of fact, the black community was actually functioning higher and stronger than many other communities. And we also had our own economical system going on called Black Wall Street up in Tulsa. Yep. Learn your history. But then LBJ came to say, we need to do something about this, and we're going to give them the Great Society. And what has happened to us? Systematic downturn, complete utter destruction of our community, and then we're going to erase it from the history books so nobody knows. But guess what? He's not David Copperfield. He can't perform the magic trick without nobody seeing. Everybody knows what's going on now, and that's the incredible thing. Everybody's waking up, and we're going to bring this back, man.
And the other thing is, and excuse me for what I'm going to say here right now, but Lyndon Baines Johnson said that basically he was going to get, and I use the polite word, the black community. He didn't use that word though. No. To vote for him for the next 100 years.
Well, he said this. He said, I will have those Negroes. We'll say Negroes, but he said the other hyphenated N word. He said, I'll have those Negroes voting for us for the next 200 years. Let's give them these handouts. Let's give them their own self-destruction because they're not going to know any better. And for a long time, it has worked. Our community population hasn't grown past 12 to 14% in 60 years. Ask yourself the question of why. We're killing ourselves, okay? We got the welfare system that's holding us down economically and financially where we can't grow for generational wealth. And guess what? They're also promoting us killing ourselves in the streets through the music industry and the entertainment industry. They are pushing this. The Democrat Party will take a rapper who will talk about killing us, give them millions of dollars in contracts, but then take a brother like myself who's saying, let's save our families and call us sellouts. Ain't that something?
That is something. So YG, if somebody wants to follow you either politically or to know more about your seminars, tell us how they can contact you, how they can learn about the seminars, maybe attend them. I don't know if you go around the states or if you just...
I do.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about that contact information, because I think At this point, you piqued a lot of interest.
Okay, just go to YG, 2 letters, YGforcongress.com. You can reach me there, YG
Is
for
it
Congress.
for or FOR?
FOR, YG4Congress.com. And trust me, and the YG school tour is coming. It's called the YG Beautiful America Tour, where we're actually going into schools and we're talking about bringing these things together with race and saying how beautiful this country is of us uniting and how children are empowered when they connect with each other and embrace America and embrace that patriotism and go for the American dream. That is what it's all about, brother.
Wow. Brother, I cannot tell you what a pleasure it was to meet you, to talk with you. God bless you.
Yes, sir.
Take that, George, and turn it back red again.
Let's go, Georgia. Let's go get them, baby.
And by the way, are black people for Trump?
Yes, it's so many black people for Trump, man. The media be lying to y'all, man. I'm telling you, man, it's so many black people for Trump. Just trust me, you're going to see a wave hit in this 2022 election right now. There are more black Democrats who are saying they've had enough of this. They're getting tired of the mandates. They're getting tired of being kicked off their job. They're getting tired of being kicked out of restaurants. And they all know it's the Democrats. And they're getting tired of all this foolishness, man. You know, black people don't like drama, man. So let's go.
Let's go. YG, thank you once again. Thanks so much.
All good, brother.
Thanks. God bless you.
Yes, sir. Check this out, guys. 1992, I was actually homeless and sleeping on these streets, and it's crazy how they built all of this up. And now, after all of this building, I'm actually running for U.S. Congress. God is good. Stay faithful, stay on the path, and He will elevate you. Now, I'm going to chill and enjoy the rest of this view. I'll see y'all later. Woo! Hallelujah.